want to come in and start putting in the equipment in here. So the first thing we'll do is we'll put the doors in here. We'll just use a simple 2-6 door, and we'll drop it in. And it doesn't really matter the placement of it because we're gonna move things around anyway. So you just hit Command M to mirror, the Command M to flip the door if it's not facing the right way. Sometimes that happens, and then just kind of move it 6 inches away. You always want the doors to be between 6 and 4 inches away from an adjacent wall. And same thing here. Okay, then we're gonna come in and we'll put this same situation here. We'll change it to the corner, to anchor on the corner. This is going to swing out into the room itself, and we'll center this in the space. And there you go. Okay, now over here, we're going to have a bathroom that goes in 0-4 inches, and then we'll come over to the object tool, find the toilet bowl outlet tank, set that in. And anchor right there, put it in, select it, move it over to 1-6, and then we're going to go over here, we're going to grab a copy of this thing, just drop it there, and hit Command E to rotate it, take that, and just drop it right there. Then we'll actually stretch this back right to the center line, and then stretch it 1-6. Then remember the stretch key is H, the H key, and then go into it, and sides visible 2. Sometimes it doesn't put it on the right side, so it's either 2 or 1. So it's just sometimes if it puts it on the wrong side, just erase that number and then put the opposite, either 2 or 1, depending on which one's appropriate. Okay, now this is going to be the shower wall, and only part of it's going to be full frame wall, and the other part will be glass. And so what we'll end up doing is we're going to build the bench in. The bench is going to tell us where the actual wall is going to end. So we're going to come over to our line tool that we've selected right here. Click on the line. So it's just a single line. Hit the E key, and that's going to be our offset key, letter E for offset. And then come to the end, and then push that out 1-6. And then again, select number 3 for your wall tool. Try and always do things from the keyboard. If you keep going like this, it's wasted movement. If you can learn the keystrokes, that's always the best approach, best by far. And so number 3 is your wall tool. So click on that, then hold down the Command button, and then click the line that you're going to split it at, just like that. So it went and split them. So now you can take this one and select it by if you hit number 1. Number 1's the arrow tool. So you can select this wall. Then hit Command T, and then go in, change that to 0-2, and change the, come down here, change the cut line pen from pen number 6 to pen number 3, change the interior wall to a cabinet and built-ins layer. And it's like, well, why do we do that? The reason that you want to do that is because it's not a real wall anymore, and so when we transfer this to our other plans, we don't really want that wall showing up because it's just a piece of glass and there's no framing underneath it. So we don't want to give anybody the false idea that there's something going on there. That's why you change it to the cabinets later, because that layer automatically gets hidden. So now we select that we select that, and we're going to move it down 2 inches, and then we'll go to hit the number 4 key, which is your line tool. Change this to pen 21. Drag that over to the end right there. Okay, so now we created our shower wall, and then you're going to come in. We're going to show the drain by putting it across in. Hit the number 5 key is for the circle. Change that to pen 21. Zoom in. Type 0-2, and then what you hold down the Command key. Click here. Click here. Click here. You could go click once, click once, click once, click once, click click once. So that takes 4 movements. This way only takes 3, so it's faster. Always remember, do it faster. Okay, now we need to put an actual door in here. So let's just grab the settings. So hold down the Option key, click on that wall, and what we're going to do is we're going to change that to a 2-foot wall, and we'll change the frame wall thickness to 2 inches. Change the frame width to 0. Change the angle opening to 30 degrees, and then hit enter. And then we can come in, and we're on our anchor point. So we can just come in, set it there, swing it out, and that's it. You're done with that. Okay, now grab the settings. So here, hold down the Option key, and then just kind of draw this line. You can just eyeball it right in there. So there's a little bit of a gap there, and that is that. Okay, now all we need to do is take, and we're going to have a bench on the outside. So we'll just drop one right here. And typically these kind of benches, we show benches in our kind of a standard bench. Well, we'll get on the continuous line tool. We'll draw it up 2 inches. So there's one end of the bench. There's the other end of the bench. Draw that in 2 inches. So now you kind of have the frame of your bench. Take and select this tool. Hit Command F to multiply. Spread it at 1.5 inches. Hit OK. And just run that through. Then, since they're all selected, change that to pin 21. And there you go. Now you're going to want to come back in and select all of that. Make sure your grouping's turned on, and then group it again. So now you have an element. So if you ever need to drag a copy or something like that, you'll be able to do that quickly and easily. Okay, in addition to over here, they want to have a little medicine cabinet. So let's just grab the settings of the shower wall, because we're going to use the same thickness for that, and we'll change this over to the wall tool, and we'll just go hit X2, Y2, and that'll give us a rough thing, and we can come in. We can actually kind of just place that right in the center, and we'll use that to. If you have a hard time finding the anchor points, it's a trick is to zoom all the way out, because it makes it easier to find it. And so then if you zoom out, you can find it a little bit easier, and there it is right there. Now just zoom back in, and you can continue to work with it. Okay, so let's just grab this, and we're going to push this all the way back. Right there. And then we can drag, the number 2 key is for the marquee. That's this key, right? That's just right here. So you can select that. Make sure your grouping's turned off, so Option G. Take that, and we're going to drag it back to the cabinet, and then we'll drag it back 6 inches, and you'll see that it's going to move the sinks, but that's okay. 0-6 inches. See, it just moved all those, but that's okay, because we can just grab them and move them back really easy. And there you go. Not too difficult. See, now these are going. You can see these lines running behind. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to readjust these so that the sinks are centered in the space. But we now have this gap here. There's 2 options. The easiest way is just to hit the number 3 or the line tool, which is pen number 4, or not pen number 4. It's the number 4 key on your keyboard, and then just draw a line over there, and you're done. Now to finish out this little medicine cabinet linen closet, we're going to want to go into our door settings. Hit D2. Change that to 1-6. Oops. Go back into it. Sorry about that. Change that to pin number to 2 inches, 0, and then set that to 30 degrees again. And then we'll just take that and we'll just drop that in, and don't worry about the size so much, because we'll actually come in and adjust that. Now hit the D key to center it in there. So D, and then door in there. Okay, now we're going to actually take this, we're going to stretch this all the way to the edge there, and the H key again, stretch to the edge. Now there's going to be shelving inside this medicine cabinet, so we'll hit the number 4 key, change that to pin 21, and then bring it over to the edge, and then hit the E key again, so that we're going to offset, drop that in, and then complete your line, push it over 2 inches, and you're done. Easy. Okay, so that's pretty much drawn in there. Now what we want to do is come over and actually put in the cabinetry, the door for these two cabinets. So let's just grab this setting. Since we're still centered it, we'll just we'll hit the D key to center between the 2 points. Put it in there, and there we go. Now if you hit the 4 key, you want that to be pin number 3, because we're going to put the shelf in here. Down here you don't need a shelf and rod, so you just bring it over here, hit the E key. Oops, made another accidental line there, and push it out 1-2, and we're going to do the exact same thing over on the other end. So select the option, click the door to get its settings, put it in there, the number 4 key for the line, hit the E key to offset, complete the line, hit the R key for the length, hit 1-2, and there's your door. Okay, now we need to actually get into the bedroom, so we're going to grab the settings of the door again, so option click the door, come up here, highlight that. If you triple click on it, go 1, 2, 3 really quick, it'll select the whole thing, and then type 3, and then tab, that gives you that door. You can come in here, now all you have to do is just to hit the D key again, and it'll give you the centering tool, center between the space, drop it in. Okay, center between the space, drop it in, and there you go. That's done. Now we need to fill out these closets, and closets are going to have a typical shelf and rod system. So one of the easiest things to do is be on your line tool. That's number 4. Then hit the E key, hold down the spacebar button, and space click it in. Type your first line is going to be 1 foot. Oh, and it didn't give me multiple offsets, but well, that's okay, because what we'll do here is we'll select this one, we'll delete it, go over here, hit pen number 4, and then the command key to adjust. Then what we'll do is we'll highlight that again, hit the E key, and then space click right on that line, and it's going to give you an offset from that point. Type 0-2, that's where the rod part's going to be. Then change that from, so you'll select that line if it isn't already selected. Hit type 2 for pen number 2, and then dashed line, hit OK. Same thing, really easy to do. Okay, so we can do the exact same thing over here. So this break line may screw this up, so let's just see what happens. Okay, oh good. Okay, so what we did was we're on the pen tool, hit the E key, and if you hit the E key, you'll notice that the little the offset box changes. You hit it once, it's going to change. So the first time it'll give you a single offset. The second time it'll give you multiple offsets. So if you want to do multiple offsets, like in the case of doing a shelf and rod, you want to do hit the E key twice, and if you keep hitting it, it just toggles it on and off. It toggles through all the settings until it gets off. So there you go. Now hold down the space bar button so you can space click it. Then type 1, hit enter, type R again, and type 0-10, enter. And obviously something messed up here. Let's see what happened here. Okay, so yeah, so this break line actually did cause us a little bit of trouble. So what we're going to do is we'll just make sure it's all grouped. We're going to move it over, just move it out of the way, a known point, so probably 2 feet will get it out of the way. Now if we go back to the line tool, we can actually space click that thing in there, and it'll be really easy. So type the E key, and you'll notice that it automatically brought up your last settings, and by doing that, you can just space click in again, type 1, R1, and then R. It'll let you do multiple offsets again. So you can then type R, then 0-10. And then when you're done, just hit the escape key, and that'll be that. Then all you have to do here is just delete, make sure your grouping's turned off, delete that, select these two, or run a selection box with you, hit pin number 1, and then select everything right there like that. Hit the number 4 key for your line tool, and then command click, and it'll adjust it to the wall for you. Now if you just select those two, hit Command T, change to pin number 2, click that, change it to dashed lines, hit OK. Now remember to grab this thing, grouping, turn the grouping back on, move it over 2 feet, which is what you moved it over in the first place, and you're good to go. Now some of the things you really have to be aware of in closets, especially of these two sizes, is the size of the doors in relationship to the closets. And you never want to put a door bigger than 5 foot, a double door bigger than 5 foot, into a bedroom unless it's a very, very large bedroom, because it eats up way too much of the room, and it's kind of just an awkward door. So go in here, it'll be a 5 foot door, change it to 6'8", because remember everything in the basement's 6'8", and then just hit OK. Now what we can do, since we're anchoring to the center, you can click right there. Remember the D key to center it, and then put the door in there. Now you're like, well, maybe we have to actually ask ourselves the question if we can actually get away with doing this. So what we want to do, because a standard hanger is about 2 feet, and so what we want to do to see if we can really make this closet work is be on the line tool, and then do an offset, and offset at 1 foot. Okay, so you can see that the close will come right to the edge of that door. So that's probably okay. That'll work. That'll work just fine in this case. If it overlapped it, then you'd want to change your door system. And so we come back. We went and held down the Option key to grab the settings of the door. Then we'll come back over here, hit the D key, and there we dump that door in there. And if we want to verify it again, hit number 4 for the line tool, then E for the offset, hold down the space bar, type R1, and you can see it's the same thing. So we're perfect. Okay, so that concludes this part of the side of the basement.